Hello and welcome to Channel 15 City News, your source for local news in Cedar Falls. I'm Nathan Greve. So stay tuned. Channel 15 City News is next. There are few things as wonderful as seeing a child made happy, and after the city of Cedar Falls made a terrific gesture to one civic-minded boy, he's happier than ever.
It was really cool because you got to push one down and then you got to push it and then you got to pull it up.
Meet Hayes Ford. Hayes is obsessed with garbage trucks, how they look, how they move, and how they sound. He's so excited about them that his grandmother would take him to see where the garbage trucks lived.
This happened about a couple months before. We noticed a car following our garbage trucks around town. So what would happen was the car would follow the trucks around town and kind of circling around them while they're getting fuel and dumping at the transfer station. And then when the drivers went to approach the lady that was driving, the car took off. So this happened a couple of times, and then when we were finally able to get a license plate number, and then we had the police contact the lady and say, hey, what's going on? How come you're following our garbage trucks around? You know, we didn't know what her purpose was. So we found out that the little boy was in fact interested in where the garbage trucks lived. So she wanted to show him, what they do and how they operate throughout the day. So she'd follow the guys on the routes for a little bit.
After that, a meeting was set up and Hayes was able to take a ride on a garbage truck with maintenance worker Adam Berg.
He had non-stop questions. It tickled pink. We've got a little monitor in our garbage trucks. You can see the refuse going into the hopper, and so I turned that so he could see that, and he was pointing out all the things people could have recycled, and he could tell you all about the different garbage carts, different sizes, what they, the different colors, what those were for. It was pretty impressive.
It was a fantastic birthday present for this young man, made even better by a visit to Wayne Engineering for his birthday party.
So he had 10 of his little friends at the garbage truck factory for his birthday party, and Wayne Engineering gave him a tour, all of his little buddies. They had on garbage vests, safety hats, safety glasses, and that's where he had his party. So he had one heck of a birthday, from riding in the garbage truck doing a route in Cedar Falls to then having his birthday party at Wayne Engineering. It's been a fantastic birthday for this little guy. I don't know how we're gonna top it.
Hayes was more than happy to show me how garbage trucks worked, and to be honest, I learned quite a bit.
So this part is a hydraulic that lifts that down and up.
If I remember correctly, it was like 3 o'clock or something, 3:30 something, 4 in the morning, and I opened the door, and I look out, and the living room light is on, the TV was on, the kitchen light was on, and I was thinking, that kid, he went to bed and forgot to shut the lights off. And I got to the top of the steps to go down in the basement where his room was, and all the lights were on downstairs, and I got
It was there in her basement that Wendy came face to face with the unimaginable. Her 15-year-old son, Evan, the kid who loved to be around his family, was gone. It was there in her basement that Wendy's son took his own life.
My mom called me and woke up, and I could literally feel my heart hitting the floor.
Alan Mass, Wendy's brother, Evan's uncle, drove an hour to get to his sister's house in the middle of that night.
They had him, before they moved him, they had him waiting. I went down there and I wanted to see him. I just needed to.
Wendy, Alan, and the rest of their tight-knit family shocked. There were no signs they saw leading up to that fateful night.
Evan he was a free-spirited kind of, always wanted to do the right thing, always wanted to do right for people. Sometimes felt like he didn't always fit in, but he would do whatever he needed. Just wanted people to like him.
My last day with him, I never knew anything was wrong with him. He never said anything. He would always stay up late, you know, he'd either be on his phone or watching TV. And I remember telling him, you know, we were gonna go to bed, and it was probably about 10. I think I watched a little bit of the news, probably about 10 or 10:30. And he was downstairs where his bedroom is, and I told him, I said, I'm getting ready to go to bed. Make sure lights are off, TV's off, door's locked. He's like, I will, Mom. I will, Mom, I always do. It's okay, go to bed, Mom, I love you.
There were no signs before, but Evan left clues behind, like pieces to a puzzle.
I find out after the fact, when his books and where all his school stuff was sent home, that he was failing every single subject. And I never knew anything about it.
Evan was failing. His uncle and grandfather found so many completed assignments in his folders. Completed, but never handed in. He cut ties with nearly every single family member on social media. It was a storm of problems when Wendy realized she found the lightning bolt that potentially started it all.
I found a poem on his phone that somebody had sent to him, and I'm not going to repeat it because it makes my stomach, but it was referencing hanging. And when I saw that, my first instinct was, how could you be so cruel?
Just days before his death, Evan's grandmother noticed some writing on his arms. She asked him what was going on, but he quickly covered up, told her it was nothing, told her he was fine. But after he was gone, they found a picture on his phone. His arms were covered with hateful and hurtful words. He texted that picture to a friend and said, "This is what I hear every day at school."
I guess that's probably the hardest part for us to accept, is knowing that how he was in the open with us, you know, how he kept so much closed. And
were there missed signs all along, masked by his beaming smile? Were there too many "I'm fine" responses?
There's times where I still don't want to go to bed because when I close my eyes,
It's questions like those, moments like that continue to haunt Wendy.
I hope that nobody ever has to go through this. It's the hardest thing to do, all the what ifs. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have known. I wish he would have come and talked to me. I wish I could have helped him. So I guess, you know, if somebody is being bullied, I hope they tell somebody, whether it's a parent or a teacher or a friend or somebody. I wish somebody would have told me what was going on.
A family closer and stronger, but forever broken. Evan's cousin Kylie, her words forever etched.
You have left and I am broken, but for you, heaven's gates are open. I cried today because there was so much left to say. Even though I missed your smile, the moments we shared were all the worthwhile. It wasn't long enough together, but it was long enough to last forever. And while I pray and say amen, I know I'll see you again.
As a mom, what do you miss the most about him?
Everything.
On the night of February 7th, firefighters responded to a trailer park fire. A disaster, but one that could have been even worse for the family. As it happened, everyone inside the home was saved. Ashley Calfee and her 5-year-old daughter Avery and her 3-year-old son Mason pulled from their burning home and able to enjoy the fact that despite their loss, they still had each other. all because of these men: Shane Farmer, TJ Taylor, and Derek Brown. Troy Purdy, the fourth man involved in the rescue, was unavailable for an interview.
Section 2, neighbors are saying we got babies inside also. Are you back here? Can you hear us?
On a cold night, the call came in. Police were on the scene of the fire first, using their compressed air foam to try and extinguish the fire. Fire, however, was too strong. When the firefighters showed up, the team immediately sprung into action.
While en route, Cedar Falls police officers arrived and did update us with some information that they were in fact hearing some voices from inside the trailer. So we were fairly certain we were going to be performing a rescue upon arrival. The battalion chief made a decision to ask Waterloo Fire to send an engine our way as well for some backup in case needed.
Split-second decisions helped to save time when every second counts, and effort when it could be spent inside the trailer looking for the family.
En route, we kind of met each other on Hudson Road at 27th Street. As we were coming up to that intersection, we seen them coming as well, so we kind of knew they were going to be arriving just after us. So that's why we were able to make that decision and know that we could go in without our hose line, which isn't typically what we would do, but it was a matter of saving precious minutes. Shane and I entered initially through the front door, and as we did so, we knew we were going to be going to our left towards the back side of the trailer where they'd indicated they could hear some voices. And just after entering the doorway, I heard a voice of a female from the front of the trailer. So we split up at that point. Shane continued to the back, and I took a right and went towards the front, and was able to find the mother up there, and I was the one who performed that rescue.
She was pretty disoriented. When we did our investigation later, we found that there was hand marks that went down the hallway going to that front room, and we surmised, she never really knew exactly what happened, but we surmised that she went up into that bedroom, dragging her hand along the wall, and she didn't know where she was because the smoke was very thick, and she just got trapped in that front room.
Shane Farmer gives his account.
Once I get on the other side of the fire, hopefully I'll be able to see a little bit better, but if not, I'm still going to be oriented and know where I'm at. Once I got on the other side of the fire, I was not able to see anything. So if you put a blindfold on yourself, close your eyes, go into a closet and turn off all the lights, that's basically what we see for the most part when we're in fires where the smoke is banked all the way down to the floor. All that time I was calling out, fire department, and I was hearing the little girl holler back at me. And that continued back and forth as I made my way farther back in the trailer. Eventually she stopped hollering back at me. Got into that back bedroom, knowing that I was probably running out of time, still continuing to do my search. At that point, TJ and I each saw a door. I opened one, it was a closet. TJ opened the other, it was the bathroom.
When I opened it up, I could hear a little girl, I can't breathe. I saw a couple hands come up through the smoke, grabbed her, and as quickly as I could, I just followed my hose line back out. I passed the little girl off to Battalion Chief Schmidt, and then at that point, no one else had been exited from the structure, so I immediately turned around and went back in to continue the search.
When we closed the bathroom door, then we saw a crib, and Troy was able to scoop the little boy who was sleeping face down in the crib, scooped him right up, and then Troy and I proceeded to carry the little boy out of the trailer.
I met firefighters Farmer and Purdy in the living room, I believe, in that neighborhood, coming out with a small boy.
Sounds like a whole lot of stuff that happened, but apparently it all happened in less than 90 seconds. So that's why we were so successful that night, is because of the little amount of time that it took us to get them out of that environment.
The events of that night all meshed together to help this story end the way it did. Each thing that happened played a role.
Everyone from the officers on duty that gave us the initial, you know, hey, they're back here. I think we hear voices. The medics that took the patients after we got them out. The neighbors, you know, that helped with telling us where the bedrooms were and stuff. All that, you take one person out of that and we don't get the same result. I truly believe that.
In the end, the trailer was destroyed. After the fire ended, it actually reignited the following morning. But the family was safe. Ashley was treated in Iowa City for smoke inhalation and was reunited with her children.
If we wouldn't have done it that way, something would have happened to either the ones in the back or the mother in the front. You know, if Derek doesn't hear her calling out, we don't get to her for 2 minutes instead of 45 seconds. You know, she's going to have more significant smoke damage, and who knows what happens after that. So, you know, I think our training, our confidence in our equipment and what we were doing, our confidence in each other. We've been a crew that have worked together for a number of years, so we know each other's capabilities. I think all that played a big part.
The crew that helped to save 3 lives were awarded at a city function in April, and in October, the men made their way to Des Moines to accept the Sullivan Brothers Award of Valor.
TJ Taylor.
The valor that these men displayed can be described as heroism or bravery, but all of these men remain humble.
It was a very difficult situation for them. It's a difficult experience. It's gratifying at one point, and it's terrifying on the other to know that you're trying to save someone's life, and the experiences changes those people, I'm sure.
But in our line of work, I mean, it's what we train to do, and it's not what we do it for. We do our job because it's what we love to do, and it's why we're here.
For Channel 15 City News, I'm Nathan Greve.